guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Yvonne from GingerChickRehab. I am so glad to have you back checking out what I am up to. And yes, I finally got enough thrift store finds to do a thrift haul and makeover for you all. So in today's video, I am sharing with you what I found when I was out at thrift stores. And at the end of the video, if you want to, stay for the items that I can envision making over. So yes, with garage sale season, I have not been going into the thrift stores too much, but in our travels of garage sailing, you know, you pass a Goodwill, Salvation Army, a thrift store, you can't help but your car just drives right in there. So these are what I found. I can't say that they're all local by any means. They're here and there and everywhere type of thrift store. So I was happy to have enough to make over for you all. So let's get into this haul. So, right off the bat, look at this beautiful stained glass church. It was $2.99. It's in great condition. I think it's made for a tea light, or somebody said maybe a lamp when I was checking out. I don't know, it would be pretty heavy for a lamp, but you could. So anyway, I just love stained glass and I thought it was absolutely gorgeous. So it's heavy. I mean, I don't know, it might be more of a plasticky type. It does have real in it glass, and some of it is like, this is plastic, I guess, I don't know, but I know that it's heavy. So then for $6.29, it was probably too much, but I don't know, those brass figures and the black, probably more 1980s, 90s, I don't know, it gets me this panther? Let's call it Linus. I'm not sure. It was just gorgeous. I'm attracted to animals anyway. And then it must have been the same person maybe donated. Then this one was $3.29. It was just some flowers. Canna lilies? Do you think they're canna lilies? I don't know. Maybe you all who are garden experts can tell me, but there's just something about that black and gold, that brass, that just catches my attention. And this probably isn't the season for big bells, but for $1.99, this metal bell, it's got stars on it, so you don't have to have it. It looks like it hangs, and you could put it on your front porch, and when you want your kids to come in or your husband to hear you, you can ring it. I don't think it's terribly loud. It's not that heavy of a metal, but it definitely caught my eye. I love stars. I love that galvanized. For $4.29, this is a hummingbird. It's not stained glass. It's just a glass piece that is pressed other glass on it, I guess. I don't know if it's not really etched. It's bumped, but I wouldn't call it stained glass because it's not all the way through. But I have sold these pieces before, hummingbirds always sell really well. It still had its chain, so I was excited to run across that. There was this other piece. $4.29. I don't know, I just like these blown glass, hang on your porch or, you know, your sunroom kind of pieces. So $4.29, I can't remember if I said that, but I have another similar that hasn't sold yet in the booth, and sometimes pairs are better than singles. So for $3.29, I picked up a spoon rest. Yeah, spoon rests sell. So if I usually sell them for about 10 bucks. So butter dishes, anything like that. So I thought this was just a neat one. Found this red metal box tray. What would you call it? Anyway, it's red and it's metal and it has handles. Now I had a similar one from my sister-in-law. I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna put it in there red with a reasonable price tag, and it sold like the next day. So this one was $5.29, so I'd probably still sell this for 10, 12 bucks. Probably a Hobby Lobby piece, but I think people like red, so I will just leave it as is because it's got a lot of texture, like manufactured chippiness. So I'll take the little streamers off. Somebody probably used it for some type of a party, so I was happy to run across it. And I thought this was a unique find. This one was $1.99. Now I usually try to stay away from clear glass, but I could pop that out. I could put an IOD transfer on that. It's a frog. Do you see how it's got the, and then it's got, I just thought this was just a unique piece. You know, we're in the season now here in Michigan for flowers, and fresh cut flowers will be coming up not soon. Some peonies, people pick their peonies, and our lilacs are done, but my peonies finally just bloomed, but I usually leave them outside. I don't like the little critters that sometimes come with them, but I thought this was great. Beautiful, nice and heavy. So your bigger flowers wouldn't tip it over. This guy was $2.99. He was a Salvation Army find. He's just a different type of duck. He's actually a Ducks Unlimited if you take that tag off. I do better with them painted. This just, I don't know. So I know we have had a huge Ducks Unlimited group around here, so these kind of always pop up a lot. And then there was this piece, this little cubby for $2.29. I've actually sold something similar, and I didn't paint it. I left it as is because I think it's just a pretty, I can't hand paint like that, so I think it's a pretty scene. So I would just try to sell this as is. It just has a couple little cubbies, just a cute little shelf sitter. Sit your littles on there. Talk about little trinket boxes. This is my favorite things. It's a Ray done, but that wood and that white gets me. So it's just a little trinket box. I love the wooden lid of this. So yeah, that is just one of those. I don't know how well Ray Dunn sells, but I didn't pass it up. And for $1.29, talk about little trinkets. This is just a little bird, probably a little ring, you know, your ring holder. Little birds. That's a great price for $1.29. You don't, that doesn't happen too often at Goodwill anymore. So I like that. Nothing I have to do to that. Now this is super cute. These are actually a stained glass little flip-flops. Look at that. I think a little tea light candle should go behind it, and it would light up, illuminate. It was 99 cents at a Goodwill, so I thought, oh, how cute, what a good girlfriend gift, or, you know, at the lake, if you have that theme. Oh my gosh, just, these were so sweet little flip-flops. I did find for $1.99 some Temptations. I always, you know, the Temptation wear. Now, I sold this pattern before. Unfortunately, this is missing its cup, but for $1.99, I probably maybe $6. My son Alex was with me, and he's like, "It doesn't have the cup, Mom. Leave it alone. It's gonna sit." But I couldn't pass it up. Somebody might just want they are so pretty. They're just pretty. Nice shelf sitters. For $5.29, I picked up this set, and I think this set is Pioneer Woman. So I don't know how much this retails for. She does have such fun colors. So these little measuring cups like this, I really do well for me. So if it's priced right, I mean, I have to check to see what hers normally sell. Right, they're Walmart, right? So, and then for $4.29, it was a market basket. Now I would like to do something to this, like stain it, wax it, because it is natural. So if you spill anything on this, it's going to stain that reed. So I definitely want to do something just to protect it so it does not ruin. And then for $3.29, now this is just a resin bowl. When I picked it up, I was hoping it was wood, but it's resin. So it's got that primitive vibe to it, so I could put an IOD transfer on it, spice it up a little bit, leave it as is. I don't think I'd paint it. I like the patina that's got going on there because it's resin, so I'm not going to really be able to sand it and make it look. I'd be able to paint it. That'd be about it. So we'll see what I decide. This guy was huge. So this is actually really lightweight. It was $4.29. It has a $59.99 price tag on it. I think it says Hobby Lobby underneath there. It's kind of ripped off. You can tell it's definitely worse for wear, but look at that pretty detail. So paint this up, do some waxing on it to pop those details, bring this back to life. decorative balls, greenery, candle in the middle. Oh my gosh, just a pretty piece. So I'm hoping to be able to bring this back to life. This set of vases, $5.29. Creative Co-op. I don't know. I love that tier. I'm not going to do anything to it. Just pretty little colors on there. That nice blue. Take the tag off. Just, it's nice to have a trio of something. For $1.99, I do sell coffee mugs, and this is a Magnolia Home, Hearth and Home. So yeah, I usually do $6, $8 for my coffee mugs, which are usually Starbucks or Ray Dunn. So it was nice to find a Magnolia. Now I hope that this doesn't, a lot of that Magnolia line seems to mark up. I find it in the thrift stores a lot and I pass it up because it's got marks on it. And I don't know if a dry eraser, not a dry eraser, a magic eraser would take it off or not. So we'll see. That's the first one I bought that I was going to just leave as is. So for $2.29, I got another one of these little silver pitcher trees. I like to have these. They do sell, so maybe not so much right now, but towards when people are in their house. So it's nice, $2.29. I'll just put it in my inventory. I thought this was beautiful for $1.49. Every Goodwill is so different. So it is a calendar. So it has magnets up here that are taped. So then you put it on what month it is and what day of the week it is. It just, how simple is that? And it's got the fall theme, but it's in great shape. I don't know anything about it, but $1.49. Wow. So it's nice because you can have it out all year long, or if you like to redecorate for every season, this is perfect for sunflower going into late summer and fall season here anyway. And then I did pick up these manufactured spindle candlestick thingies, but I would pop that off, put a piece of wood, do some chippy paint on them. I'm trying to remember how much they were for the set. I think it was $3.29. Yes, $3.29 for the set of these three primitive. Yeah, they just need a little updating. Get this caddy for $4.29. It's very raw. I want to sand it. I want to do something to this. It's a nice size. I've actually sold similar, so I didn't pass that up. And then let's see, I got a candlestick for $4.29. This is big. I like it when I find them big. Now the riser candlesticks have been doing really well. I can't say, maybe these are a little big, I don't know. But like the medium size, like half size, I'm sold out of those right now. So yeah, they're putting a piece of wood on top of them have been going really well. And then for $7.29, yeah, I told y'all I like animals. So look at it, it's a bear. It's just a little stand. It's a plant stand, or you put it out. You just put it outside, or you can have it in your house. Look at his little booty. But I could not. I know. I'm like, oh, I have to get this shown so I can get in the booth and somebody can take him home and appreciate him. Now, it looks like this bag must be some garage sale stuff that got mixed, but oh well. I'm showing this now. So for $1, I got this little cross with the rusty stars. This is something I would decorate with, but I probably will resell it. And then for 50 cents, I picked up a pair of bobbins, little spools. Yeah, 50 cents, great price. I know, I got plenty. I've been good in selling some on eBay, so check out. I know the large ones are still there. And then I think 25 cents, I got these old scissors. So I like the black handle of them. I don't know if they'd cut anything because they are not tight and not aligned at all. I think you could read a magazine through that, but they are nice decor pieces. So, and then I had never seen these before. Do y'all play dominoes? So these are domino trays. So for $2.99, I wasn't sure. I thought it was a nice find. Those heavier, newer age dominoes are and when I was looking on eBay, they do sell. So I'll probably pop these on eBay. Unfortunately, the box is a little worse for wear, but it's all about what's inside the box. I've actually sold this trio before, and maybe some of you remember. So for $3.99, I picked up these. I'm making a lot of things out of music paper. So there's this one, and then there's this one. Trying to get out the ring light, and I think it's this actually. It's similar to what I've sold before. So all I do to these is just paint the frame black, and it just pops that. So I did give $4 a piece, $3.99 a piece for them, and I sell them for $10 a piece. And it's really, with ink chalk paint, it's really easy to paint, and a little bit of polycrylic to seal it in. And this heavy guy. So for $6.29, I picked up this clock. I like the frame. It is heavy. It works. It's just a simple square. I don't run across square clocks very often. So maybe somebody doesn't want a round clock and they want a square clock. So I'll see if I just leave it as is, how it cleans up, because it's really in good shape. And I found a couple cutting boards. So for $6, I did pick up that, which probably seems, but these sell, I could probably get at least 18 for a cutting board like this. It does need sanded. It says gently used on it, but I love when it has all of these wood colors, and I love to sand them. And I don't know, I get pleasure out of sanding and then putting that oil on and watching it all pop. Tramontina, it made in Brazil, but I liked that find. And then my local Goodwill caught me one day when I was in there and said, luckily they watch my channel, a lot of them that have been there. And so a cutting board came in, this huge beast of a cutting board, and it is sticky. It is sticky, icky. Here, you can tell by the little feet rest that I gotta take off. But so they gave it to me for $2.29. So great find. It's a beautiful cutting board. So usually distilled vinegar and hot water sitting will bring whatever that, maybe they put the wrong oil on it, maybe it had some, I don't know what the story is, but it actually does not have a ton of cut marks on it. It's just beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So my last two pieces, when I was going back to look at that, I noticed this little thing hidden under something. Oh, look at it. And it's in great shape. The caning is in great shape. So this was $7.29. Now somebody had done some Gorilla Gluing. You remember the old Gorilla Glue that you had to add water to and then it left it. So I'm hoping to be able to clean that off, to see if I can make it a little bit better, because it's still got some wonkiness and I hate for somebody to sit on it, even sit on it in our booth and break it. So yeah, I'll definitely, because it's got the caning, it's a little bit harder to take off, but I think we can figure out one by one how to get this tightened back up. I see that they tried to do some nails and stuff like that, but these are nice when you can find them in that good a shape, and I would not paint that. I just leave that as is. And then my last find, now this one wasn't priced and it's out of season. It's a snowman, but I like that it's a cubby. It's just a press board piece, but cubbies are nice. So I'll paint this up. I'll get some fun wording, and I love how it opens this way. Maybe put a knob on it, say bye-bye snowman, and they gave this one to me for $3.29. So I love that. So it does need a little bit of work for me to do the, anyway, so well, you'll definitely know you'll be seeing that one in the makeover. So that is what I found when I was out and about thrifting at secondhand stores. That is it for this thrift haul. So if you want to stay and watch my makeovers, they will be coming up next. So let's go ahead and start off with these, because this is really a simple flip. So as you see, they already have hangers on it, so I don't have to do anything about the hangers. I do need to get rid of all the price tags that are on the back of it, and then do some taping off on the back and on the glass itself. But I love Waverly's ink chalk paint. It is so pigmented that usually one coat, especially on this wood, should soak right in and only have to be a one coat coverage. So that will always be one of my favorite blacks to go to, especially for these kind of small items. And then now that my ink paint is dry, since it's a chalk paint, I do need to seal it in. And so I'm just going back in with some Polycrylic. I said this was a quick project, so now all I'm going back in after the polycrylic is dry is going in and sanding. I like to distress and go down to some of that natural wood. I think it even helps that flower pop even more. And then we clean off the glass and our project is done. Have an even quicker project. When I get to this candlestick's in great condition. I don't see any reason to paint it. So all I'm going to be doing is adding one of the coasters. Yes, this little round is a set of 4 coasters from Hobby Lobby, and the nice thing about them from Hobby Lobby is that they are over that $4.99 that you can get them 40% off. So, and it is a perfect fit for these larger candlesticks. So we got our black with some natural wood, which I'm absolutely loving those tones. So after gluing it down with some of the Titebond Quick, I'm just going to seal that wood in with a couple coats of the Varathane clear wax. I thought this basket was a great find. It's in great condition, but it is raw. So as I said when I was showing it, if you leave it that natural and somebody spills something on it, it's then ruined. So I thought about staining it, but then getting in between the reeds isn't always the easiest of jobs. But I think that I can get in with the natural and you're not going to see the difference in color at first. As I'm applying it, you can tell that it's wet, but once it soaks in, it will go back down to that natural color, but at least it will be protected. So I actually forgot to share these 2 pieces in my thrift haul. Even though I think I look over and I think, oh, I got everything. Nope, there that was as I'm separating to what just needs to be cleaned and priced and what needs to be made over was this birdhouse. Now, actually, these 2 pieces, look at, they don't even go together. I actually thrifted them separately at actually 2 different stores, but when I was moving things around, the next thing I know, it fit on top of that. So I think I'm going to make a little set. So first things first, I need to get the tags taken off and get these cleaned up. After a fresh coat of black paint to make them match and then sealed in with some polycrylic, look, I have a set. Now, I want to pop some of the details, but I don't want to go crazy. I've actually sold black bird cages, have done well, and I've done ones on bases before too. So just to go in and pop the details to not change the character of this too awful much, I'm going to use some of the rub and buff in the copper. There's some detail areas I want to pop, of course, like the birdie, and then some of the leaves that were on there and some of the other little details. And then to tie it all in, I'm going to do a little bit of the detail on the bottom of the riser too. I'm going to go ahead and keep the chain on. I'm not going to take that off. What if somebody wants to have the 2 pieces and separate them and use the 2 pieces? I'm not going to glue those together either, but I will pop some greenery in there to sell, go to my stash, and I really think that will pop this whole feature. Look how quickly that rub and buff just popped that little birdie right back out. Next up is this trio of candlesticks. They definitely have that primitive vibe. I'm going to go ahead and remove all the string on them, remove the tags, and then take those metal candle holders off the top. I'm not sure if I'm a glutton for punishment. I'm still trying to figure out how to get the salt technique to work. So back to Pinterest I go, watched a few videos, watched that they threw plaster of Paris in, wrote down what I was supposed to do, how much my mixture was supposed to be, and so I mixed it all up. But this is the fail. So you saw the earlier, yep, this is the fail. And I want to share it with you all only because I'm not perfect. Things fail in the middle of the process. So this is my third attempt trying to get this salt technique to work, and I have not managed it yet. So when I was working on these, this was early in the morning. This is one of the things I knew I needed to let dry, and it still hadn't even dried a little bit. So then I decided, well, you know, I'm going to let these sit overnight. I'm going to go ahead and glue my wood rounds on, so that way when I come back in the morning, they'll be good and dry, and I can move on to do what I need to do. So some more of the quick tight bond glue, these little wood forms from Hobby Lobby, and then let it sit overnight. I come back the next morning, 18 hours later, and it is just as wet as when I put it on. Whew, I just thought to myself, I do not have time for this. And it actually, I could wash it right off. There wasn't any drying going on whatsoever. So was I supposed to bake them in the oven, set them in the 90-degree heat outside? Maybe that would have dried them. But it's not like our shop is air conditioned. So I was glad these two little ones that I threw into the grouping that I had, they're nothing special, but this little size sells really well for me. I am just doing that glue technique. So I'm going for my go-to of the Dollar Tree glue and then the paint on top of it, which is what I ended up doing back on those three anyway. But, you know, nobody likes to redo a project, especially when it's smalls, because it's definitely not cost efficient to redo smalls. It's funny, when I first saw this tray in the thrift store, I thought it was going to be heavy in wood, but I really do think that maybe it's a spray foam that was in a mold, and because it's really lightweight, but you see all the chippiness. So I'm going to get it cleaned up. I'm going to repaint that bottom with that same Rust-Oleum black paint, and then seal that in with the polycrylic, and then we will come up for something with that top part. So I love all the different tones that are going on the top of this, and I know it has some marks on it here and there, but sometimes it's just the perfectly imperfect. So what I'm going to do is I finally purchased some really good white wax. This is Jolie's brand off of Amazon, because I do tend to make way too much of my own white wax, and I thought, you know what, I really need to bite the bullet and buy some white wax. So that is what I'm going to be doing. So I've got the white wax, and then I've got my clear wax as my neutral to wipe off if I need to, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go in and just fill in all those little crevices. I think this is going to hide those marks that are there. It's just going to give it a whole different look. So it is not the season for snowmen here in Michigan. It has been in the 90s with 100-degree heat index going on. So my shop I'm surprised that snowman is still there and not melted off, because it has been hot. So I was happy to get this cubby for that $3.29 price tag. Cubbies are just so nice. But I do need to take that snowman off so I can use this row-cycled decoupage paper. So this is a 4 square. Love this. I've had it for a while and finally found a project that I can use it on. And it is a perfect fit for the top of the lid, the one that opens up. But I need to sand this down. I don't want to use my electric sander on it because it's that MDF press board. I don't want to go too extreme and go past it. I just need to make sure that my snowman scene is nice and smooth and taken down. And there's only about half of these pegs left. One side doesn't have any and the other has just a few. So I'm going to take them out, and it's going to have an industrial vibe, so there's no sense of trying to find other ones to match up. And isn't it always funny how some are falling out and the other ones you can't get out to save your life? There's also a hanging system on the back of this. I can't imagine actually hanging it, but I'm going to go ahead and take it off, and if somebody buys it and they want to, they can put them back on. Instead of starting off with my Rust-Oleum paint and primer that has primer in it, this MDF board sometimes can give you a little bit of fits, especially when it's shiny like this. So I am using this other Rust-Oleum gray primer that is really good for MDF board. So I want to make sure that my paint is going to stay. I'm glad that I stumbled across this watching another YouTuber use it. So I'm going to give it a nice coating of this before moving on to that Rust-Oleum black. And on a side note, no, I did not seal this in with polycrylic yet. So look at this paper is a perfect fit. So I'm just going to be gluing it on and adhering it on with some polycrylic. And I've got some of that straight edge that I will go ahead and wet the paper with polycrylic and then go back through and tear it. But first I want to get it in place. So yes, I did all the tearing and the sanding off while that polycrylic had wetted the paper. So now it is completely dry, just to give me that raw edge, and that way I wasn't taking too much off to not fit this space. So now I'm going back in with Waverly Antiquing Wax and darkening this up. And the reason I did not polycrylic the whole thing before is because if you leave your black unsealed with polycrylic, the black will take in the brown way more, so it's not quite as black and has more of a brownish look. So I'm going to go ahead with that antiquing wax, not only over the paper, but over the entire box. Now I will get it sealed in with the polycrylic as a protective coat. To stick with that industrial vibe, Chris is going to go ahead and use his Craig jig tool that helps you put knobs and pulls on. So we're going to give this that nice little pull to help you open it up. So now I'm going to work on these cutting boards. Oh my gosh, this is just gorgeous wood. So it's a thrifted cutting board. It's been used gently, like it said. So it does have some knife marks on it. And unfortunately, where they put that packing tape, it left a sticky residue. So I'm going to grab some Goo Gone to get rid of that before sanding it down. To get knife marks or scrape marks off of cutting boards, I usually start off with an 80 grit, just trying to get them gone. So I just try to work with the grain, but sometimes you got to go in other directions to really get that. It's the first pass, it's not so much about, I had somebody comment on a dresser that Chris was doing, or a cabinet that we just did, that, oh, he went against the grain. It's the final passes that matter. So your first one, when you're trying to take it down or trying to tape that top coat down off, is not as critical as when you want to follow the grain when you start to do your finish sanding. So right now I'm at an 80 grit, and so that's going to remove and get rid of the scrapes and bumps, and then I will go to a 150, and then I'll go to a 220 to smooth it out. Now this cutting board, it doesn't even really have any marks in it, and most of the stickiness, whatever Heather did at Goodwill, it doesn't really have, as when she handed it to me, it was wet, so it was really sticky. It's still got a residue on it, but not, I'm really unsure what it is. But first, you could see it was supposed to have some kind of little feedy things that I thought I was just going to like scrape off, but they're actually screwed in, so apparently it must have got melted. The same thing here. I'm trying to clean it up is what I want to do. So even though I'm sanding it and I've cleaned it off, it's still leaving some type of a residue on my sandpaper. So unfortunately, I'm using up sandpaper. So good thing I got a deal on this, because once it's got gunk on it, you don't want to use that sandpaper, because that's where you get all these little swirl marks in your wood. So that's no good. So my main thing right now is to take the 80 grit sandpaper and try to get whatever is on here off more than just cleaning it was doing. So now, after getting them all cleaned up from sanding them, I'm just using some Howard's oil to recondition them. And this is one of my favorites, when I get to watch it pop and bring that wood back alive. And as you see, it was really dry. You think, oh, that's going to be a whole bunch on. Sometimes I do overdo it and then put them on towels and just let it soak in overnight. And usually there's nothing to wipe off. Next up is this cute stool, and I know that it is wonky and it's going to need more work than you would think. To fix it properly, Chris is going to take all the nails that have been put in there in the first place trying to secure it, and take all 4 of the supports out, see what's going on. I didn't say this was going to be an easy fix, but this is going to be the proper fix. It is a stool. You're going to put your feet on it. Somebody's going to sit on it, and it is such a beautiful aged piece. So, yep, no, I knew it was not going to be an easy fix, but oh, I just love the age of these little stools. The original problem was that one of the dowels that held the 2 pieces together was broken, so which then caused all the 4 sides to then become loose and wonky. So the best fix was to take it out of the part, re-drill out where the dowel was, and put a new one in, so then it has a good strong bond between the 2 pieces of wood. So now what Chris is doing is scraping off all that excess Gorilla Glue so that it will all have a nice tight fit before gluing it all back together. Nope, no nails, just glue. made it this far in the video, this is my last makeover. This little caddy little carrier, it is really raw. It's very rough to the touch. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to go ahead and sand it so it's a lot more smooth. Now I did think about painting this piece white, and I had the sprayer all hooked up, but there's just something about that natural wood and black that I'm just loving on right now. So I have my typesetting IOD stamps along with the sunflowers by IOD, and I think I'm just going to embellish this. I already spent all that time to make this nice and smooth, and with the IOD black ink, this should be permanent. So thank you for watching today's thrift haul and my makeovers, and as always, let me know, have I inspired you to look at secondhand finds in a new way? And give me a quick comment which one that I thrifted was your favorite, which one did I make over was your favorite. And as always, if you're part of our YouTube family, thank you so much. And if you're new and you're checking out this content for the first time and you liked what you saw, please hit that subscription button along with the notification bell so you know when you uploaded a new video. And we will see you next time, guys, and you can see what we're up to. Bye.